Hey my warriors, let me know if you are able to see me as well as hear me loud and clear in the chat box right now. I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Welcome to the JEE Advanced session, my dear V Enlites. I hope, yes, it looks like I'm audible and visible. Yeah. So today's session is all about the multiple correct kind of questions. So, you know, in JEE Advanced, they usually give these MCQs where more than one option may be correct, and when such a question comes, you need to analyze the question little bit in detail. You need to develop your concepts little bit stronger, because there are multiple ways in which you should approach the problem, and also you should explore the different dimensions of such a question. These questions are usually, you know, little bit lengthier than the usual single correct option questions, and there might be negative marking depending on the pattern of the exam. Like you all know, the JEE Advanced paper pattern is not revealed until and unless you open up the question paper. So it's all a surprise. So let's practice these questions, and if you guys are excited, do let me know in the chat box. Put up some fire, light up the chat box with all the fire emojis, and yes, give a small smile. That would be great, because it's very important that you smile, you enjoy the class, and you also do not be nervous, because only when you're not nervous will you be able to understand all the concepts. So let's begin with the class. And those of you who do not know me, my name is Shreyas. I'm the physics master teacher, teaching kids for more than 10 years, producing all the top ranks. You can read it out here. And yep, do not forget to smash the like as well as the subscribe button, because it means a lot for me, because I'm doing all of these things just for you. Hello Rakesh, hi Lokesh, hi G Giridhar, Sridhar. Hello Pinky, Ganesh, welcome Sai, Ramya, Rashi, Rakshi, welcome Gudeti, hello Benedict, nice to see all of you. Thank you for smiling, thank you for laughing, and thank you for putting that fire emoji, guys. Hello everyone. So here is the first question, straight away directly moving on to the question out here. So there is a uniform rod AB of length 7 meters, like you can see, and it has both rotational as well as translational motion, and at some instant of time the velocities of end points are given as shown, 11 and 3 as shown over here. The velocity of the center and the angular velocity remains constant. So this point C always moves with constant velocity. So there is no translational acceleration of the center of mass. That's what you can infer. Now the questions over here, if you see, or the options over here, it's based on acceleration of A and B, and also it is also talking about the angular velocity of that particular rod, and if the accelerations are equal or not. So like you can see, these three options are related. If somehow I find acceleration of A or B, I think I can tackle ABC option. So you should always see the options. Don't just straight away start looking at only one option. Analyze the options and see what you need to do first. Angular velocity of the rod is 4 radians per second. Well, I think I'll approach angular velocity of the rod first. So that will be easier. So if you start approaching the angular velocity of the rod first, here is what I will say. Whenever you have to look at angular velocity of anything, it is always the relative perpendicular velocity divided by the distance separating the 2 points. Meaning, if there is a point here, and at a certain distance, there is another point, and that point has some relative velocity which is like this. This is perpendicular relative velocity. The relative velocity which is perpendicular, then that angular velocity is given by this particular formula. Now since it's a rigid body, what I will do is obviously sit at any point, because angular speed will remain same no matter where you sit. So let's say I sit over here. This is my reference point. So quickly think and tell me, what will be the relative velocity of A with respect to C, and in which direction? Come on my warriors. Hello Adi. Hello everyone. Selva, let's concentrate on the class right now. So what do you think will be the relative velocity of A? C is going here 3, A is going backwards 11, 3 meters per second here. So I move 3 here, A goes 11 there. So obviously relative velocity is going to be 11 plus 3, and that is going to be a big 14 meters per second. So the relative velocity of A with respect to C is going to be 14 meters per second. And the good thing is it is already perpendicular. Now, what do you think is this distance out here? See the length of the rod. The length of the rod is 7 meters. So hence, this would be 7 by 2 meters. Great. I have found out the perpendicular velocity. I have also found out the perpendicular distance. So I think we can immediately find out angular speed, which will be 14, which is your relative perpendicular velocity, divided by the distance, which is 7 by 2. 14 by 7 is 2. This 2 also goes on the top. So the answer will be 4 radians per second, which is one of the options as of now. So I'm definitely going to stick with D. Everybody with me on this? Yep. So option D is correct. Now I have to move on to option ABC. So let's try to think about how to tackle with ABC. So let me just get rid of them first. Now, in order to find the acceleration of A and B, what I will do is, since I know it is a combined rotational and translational motion, so I will sit on C and observe A. If I sit on C and observe A or B, they will go in a circular path. C itself is going in a translatory path. So here is what my logic is. The actual acceleration of A, will be acceleration of C, which is pure translation, plus the acceleration of A with respect to C, which is pure rotational. So if I sit on C and observe A point, I will see the point A going in a circular path. And from the ground frame, I will just see point C just going with some motion, doing some motion in the horizontal direction. Is that right? Learnadic Tamil, 11 plus 3 is 14, right? If you move 3 here and that point goes with 11, so 11 plus 3 is obviously 14. Yep. I hope this is clear. Now, moving on, Mukund, I think I had already posted a message on the community. Please go check out that community post and then probably you can ask the question. It's your duty to check the community post, which is right up there on YouTube. Go ahead, check it out. Now, moving on to these acceleration parts. Clearly it is mentioned that the velocity of the rod, the center's velocity, remains constant. If the velocity of the center remains constant, it clearly tells you that the acceleration of the center, which will be, because the velocity is constant, there will be no change in velocity, so the acceleration will be 0. So this is going to be 0. I hope this is clear. Hello Jiva Engineering and Builders. Is that clear, my warriors? So the acceleration of the center is not going to be there, it's going to move with constant velocity. Now comes this part. Now it is clearly mentioned angular velocity is also constant. If angular velocity is constant, then it also means that the tangential acceleration is 0. This is the tangential acceleration. The tangential acceleration is going to be 0. Is that right? So the only acceleration which will remain is just going to be the centripetal acceleration, and the centripetal acceleration, like we know, is the velocity square divided by r. Now if you sit on the center, A's velocity we have already found out to be 14 meters per second. Is that not right? Acceleration for this guy will be only centripetal. It is v square by r, standard formula. The velocity of A as seen by C, I've just figured it out in the previous slide, because C goes with 3, A goes with 11. So for C, A goes backwards with 14. So hence the velocity is already 14 meters per second. So I can put 14 square over here, and this distance is obviously half the length, which is 7 by 2. So you can write it as 14 into 14 divided by 7, the whole thing into 2. One of the 14 goes, this becomes 2. So this is going to become 56 meters per second square, like this. So I can just say this is just going to be 56. Hence the net acceleration of A will be just 56 meters per second square. That's it. So let's just have a look. If I have an option like this, the acceleration of point A is 56 meters per second square. That is option A. That is correct. Now let me tell you, there is no difference in finding acceleration of A or B. In fact, the point B will be just downwards here. It will be also moving like this with what is this, 14 meters per second. It will also have the same acceleration as this guy. So in fact, this magnitude wise acceleration of B will also come out to be 56 meters per second square using the same process. You're not going to repeat it. Obviously, you don't have so much time in the exam. So hence the correct answer for this will be A and B. And what about this? At the instant shown, acceleration of B is more? No, it is not more. So C, it is definitely not more. This more word is wrong. It is equal magnitude wise. Yes, silent killer, it will be done afterwards, maybe next week, okay? Or maybe tomorrow. I'll try to do it. So you guys know that if a class gets postponed or cancelled, it will happen some or the other time. So don't worry about it. Concentrate on this class right now. Okay, don't spam guys, don't spam or else you might get blocked. So I hope this question is clear. Beautiful question on rotation as well as translational motion combined together, and the concept of angular velocity, that too relative. All right. Now, by the way, the entire PDF, whatever I'm going to teach today, is going to be available in the Telegram channel. Make sure you are a part of it and join the Telegram channel using the link which is there in the description as below. Benedict, B is same. Yeah, direction is different, but the magnitude. See, they have not asked the direction. So they have not told acceleration of A is equal to acceleration of B. If such an option was there, then that option will be wrong. Here, they are just telling you the magnitude is 56, magnitude is 56. Correct. Yes, both their magnitudes are 56, but acceleration of A is downwards, acceleration of B will be upwards. So direction wise they are not equal, magnitude wise definitely these options make sense. Does that make sense to you too? Yep. So that is a small catch. A lot of people might also think about the direction, but yeah, it is not even asked over here. So don't worry about it. All right. Moving on to another question coming up on your screen right now. And here it is. There is a massless spool. This spool is massless. Spool means it's got two discs of different radius. One a smaller radius R and outer radius R, capital R. And it is, lying over here between two planes. One is vertical, one is inclined. Angle is also given. And it is also given that there is a thread wound over it. Remember, this entire thing does not have mass. Only the mass M is hanging over there. There is no friction at point A. So this part is smooth. Only I think this wall has some friction. The question is the frictional forces how much? Is the friction independent? Is the system in equilibrium? Then what is the value of mu? Okay, so I think we need to proceed with free body diagram. We also need to probably consider torques and probably also consider the fact that there might be limiting case of friction. So friction is maximum value. Let's try to do this. Yep. So yes, matrix may carry partial marking. May, I'm not sure. Okay, the expected paper pattern of this year is not known, Smiley. Nobody knows the paper pattern of JEE Advanced until you get the paper. Every year it is surprise. So if you have heard somewhere that this is going to be the pattern, they just do not know. They are as clueless as you are. Okay, so nobody can predict, and we will also not do that kind of prediction because nobody knows. Okay, let's start with this. Obviously, I'll just make up a big diagram so that we are clear about it. Maybe I will start with the angles first, that will be better. So maybe on this diagram only I can figure out the angles. So I know there will be one normal here and all of that. So here is what I will do. I will just draw a vertical line. This is just a vertical line, and parallel to the incline, I'll just draw another line. Okay, so this is parallel to the incline. So if this angle is theta, so naturally even this angle over here will be theta. Great, everybody with me on this? This angle will also be theta. And if I just drop a perpendicular to the inclined plane, this is the perpendicular to the inclined plane. So if this is theta, naturally this angle over here will be 90 minus theta. And if I draw a horizontal line over here, this is your horizontal line, then naturally again that angle will turn out to be theta again. So this angle right over here will be theta. Okay. The reason why I have marked all these angles is because I think I will need it. And if this is 90 minus theta, again this angle over here will be obviously 90 minus theta. Okay, I will refer to this diagram whenever I am confused about the angles. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so let's start with the free body diagram. Think about all the forces that can act. I think there will be one force which will be directly from here. Just check this out. One force which will be directly from here. Let's say I call that as normal 1. There will be a friction. Now this mass will try to rotate that spool clockwise. To counter that, there must be a friction which will act counterclockwise so that it can balance it. This is the frictional force over here. Then there will be obviously one normal force again like this. There will be a normal force like this. I'm going to call it as N2. No friction at this point because it is clearly mentioned there is no friction at point A. Only normal force can exist. Now this spool does not have any weight, so don't worry. There will be only one tension over here, and that tension will be equal to M times of G. Okay, I think these are the only forces which will act on this complete spool. Everybody with me on this? Everybody with me on this? Rani, I'll be giving you a tool to predict your college, etc. Just wait till 8:30 tonight. I'm uploading a video on how to get your dream college and how to search for it and all of that. Don't worry. Okay, now let's write the force equation, torque equation and all of that. So if you start, let's say with the torque equation. So the net torque should be 0. Now about the center, if I measure the net torque about the center, so you will see that this normal and this normal do not give any torque. It is only this mg which will give a clockwise torque. This mg will give a clockwise torque. This friction will give a counterclockwise torque. So I can see that the torque by mg, which is clockwise, is being balanced by the torque of friction counterclockwise. What will be the torque of mg about this point? This distance is r, that's the small radius r, into the force r cross f. So it will be r into mg. R into mg, angle between them is 90, so sin 90 is 1, that's fine. Yep. So that's why I learn Addict Tamil. See how I approach the question rather than just seeing the solution. I mean, you might even get the solution as a PDF after I complete the session. That's no point. That's the reason why I'm conducting the video. Or else I would have just passed on solution sheets and you'll be like, okay, watch the solution. So that is why in the last days you should watch discussions. You should see how people solve. And that's how you should develop your problem solving approach skills. You should think, oh, sir had solved this question this way. Maybe I can use a part of this solution or the approach in this problem. So that's where you get new ideas. Okay, mg's torque is this. Friction is at a distance of capital R and that is friction F. So I'm just going to write R cross F over here. Great, from this I'm immediately going to get the value of friction, which is R times of mg divided by capital R. I think that is one of the options as far as I remember. Let's see. Yep, the frictional force is R times of, oops, I think this R mg shouldn't have come. I think this was by mistake. I think this was by mistake, guys. I'm just going to erase this because it doesn't make sense why mg should come twice. So this is not correct. Okay, yeah, this is fine. And yep, this option is correct. What about the second option? What about second option? So seeing solutions learning is not bad. Shreyas, I feel no. I mean, you should not look at solutions and learn. You should look at part of the solution and learn. Don't see the complete solution because then it is of no point. A friction at B is independent of the angle. Let's try to figure this out. Where did it go? Yep, the frictional force depends on small r, capital R and mg. Nothing else. Small r, mg and r. Nothing else. So it is not dependent on the angle theta. So I feel I can even mark this option B. Now what you need to check is only option C and D. Option C and D, right? So that is basically minimum coefficient of friction. Arnav Sadani, you should click the bell icon and choose all notifications. That's when you will get the notification. Usually it comes as mild notifications. You should choose all notifications. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. I will start with the forces in the x and y direction. So if you see, the net force in the x direction should be 0. Net force in the x direction, oh, I need the angle now. Let's go back to this slide. I see this was 90 minus theta, this was theta. Do you see over here? This is angle theta. So I know that this angle over here is theta. This angle that you see. Okay, that angle is theta. Great. So this normal and the normal's cos theta component, that's it. Friction and mg are in vertical. They will cancel out each other. So I can clearly see the normal 1, which is there in the left direction, will be balanced by the normal 2's, which is that component, that is the cos theta component. Great. That is what you get in x. Similarly, if somebody writes an equation in the y direction, I will see friction along with the normal's sine component is balanced by mg. So let's try that out. Friction plus the normal 2, all right, the normal 2's sine theta component, these are in the upward direction, will be balanced by mg in the downward direction. Great. Now friction in the limiting condition will be nothing but Fs max, and Fs max is nothing but mu times of this normal n1, because at this point which normal is acting? N1. So mu n1 plus n2 sine theta is equal to mg. But wait a minute, n1 is n2 cos theta, so it will be mu times of n2 into cos theta. I've just imported this from here, okay? I've just taken this from here, that's it, plus n2 sine theta is equal to mg. So I've just replaced the value of n1 from here, okay? So what do we get next? n2 is common, and okay, so I can just probably write n2 in terms of mu and all of these variables. But what if I am able to write friction in terms of n2, then maybe I can substitute the value of friction over here to get the value of r. So let's try that out, guys, okay? I might get n2 from here. Let's try this out. So n2 into mu cos theta, n2 into mu cos theta plus sine theta is equal to mg over here. Okay, now from this friction I can find I can substitute this frictional value in here, and I can also get the value of n2. Check this out. Let's see if I can do something over here. Maybe I can do something over here. So friction is mu times of n1. Friction is nothing but mu times of n1, and this is also mu times of n2 cos theta. So naturally from here, since friction is basically r mg by capital R, I can also write this as r mg by capital R is nothing but mu n2 cos theta. From this I will get the value of n2 as, check this out, n2 as r mg by capital R, and this mu cos theta comes below. How about substituting this entire term over here to solve the question? Let's try this out, maybe on the next slide. So I'm just going to substitute r mg by capital R mu cos theta instead of n2, and this entire term comes mu cos theta plus sine theta is equal to mg. Let's try this out now. You can see, first of all, this mg and this mg cancels out. Maybe this small r and capital R, I can shift it on the other side, so it will become capital R by small r, and mu cos theta by mu cos theta will be 1, and here it will be just sine theta by mu cos theta. Interesting. So this will be nothing but, take this one on the other side, this will be tan theta by mu is equal to capital R by small r minus 1. Is that right? And I think I can cross multiply, so it will become tan theta by capital R by small r minus 1 is equal to mu. I think I have found the value of mu over here. Just check this out. Let's try this out. Yeah, I think we have got it. Just check option D. Logeshwari Garika, sorry bacha, I will not be able to answer the question right now. I am focused completely on solving the session. Yep, I think it is option D, tan theta by this one, not cot theta. So you just check it out over here. Yes, that is the correct answer. So it's a beautiful question with multiple equations. Equation 1 was on torque, equation 2 was on the force in the x-axis, equation 3 was the force on the y-axis, and just trying to manipulate all the variables so that we will be able to get the answer. Yep, definitely Sai Prasanna, there will be motivational and casual sessions. Yep, yes, I drank coffee while you were reading my username, that's correct. All right. Yeah, Hitesh, ignore. I'm not going to respond to spammers, of course. So moving on to the next question. Yes, we got it correct, A, B and D. Are you loving these questions? And if you're loving these questions, I hope you have hit the subscribe as well as smash the like button, because it means a lot for me to get inspired and get motivated to conduct more such sessions for you. All right. So moving on to the next question, beautiful question. Have a look at it. Yep. All right, so let's look at this question. I think this is a question where there is a rod, and you can see there is a fixed conducting ring, negligible resistance, radius of this ring is A, PQ is a uniform rod of resistance R. So the resistance of complete rod PQ is R. It is hinged at the center, and the rod is rotated about this point in the clockwise direction with some angular velocity like shown. There is a magnetic field inside the board, and R is a stationary resistance. The question is current, direction of current. Okay, so basically it's all about current. So Hitesh, that means you have not solved many mixed variety of questions. So that's the reason why I'm conducting these questions. Please try to see how I solve. Understand, don't get demotivated. Even if you don't know any of these concepts, at least you will learn now. That is the whole aim of conducting these classes. This is not to demotivate, oh my god, you guys don't know anything. No, this is not for that. This is for you guys to learn, and after the class, practice these kind of questions. Even if you get 2-3 questions out of 10 also, I'm happy. Okay, try to practice similar questions. Even from similar chapters also you can do that. Okay, let's try to do this now. Okay, so first of all, I will take care of options C and D because it's talking about direction, and we know that the direction of the EMF in case of the motional EMF is basically parallel to the velocity cross magnetic field. So if you notice carefully, this part of the rod is moving like this, this part of the rod is moving like this. Either you take this or that, it's one and the same thing. So V is upwards, magnetic field is inwards, use your right hand, velocity cross B, it's going to come this way, my thumb. Hence, this part of the rod will be like a battery like this. So this is point P, of course, and this is your center. If you do V cross B, V is down, hold your hand like this, and cross B, it will come that way. So it's going to be like this. So this will be another battery over here like this. And this EMF is given by, for standard rotating rods in magnetic field, standard formula, it is half B omega L square. So here the length of that rod is only this much. This is the length and this is the length. Remember that, because this is the center. So it will be nothing but the radius, which is, I think, given to be A. The radius is given to be A, right? Is that clear? Arnav, you will see how to solve this question. It seems difficult. Yes, these are all difficult questions. Obviously, I have to admit it. These are all JEE advanced questions. You are attending JEE, you want to get into IIT, you cannot expect easy questions. So please stop crying about, sir, the questions are hard. You have to face that if you want to get into IIT. If you are going to say, sir, the questions are hard, then IIT is not for you. Sorry. You have to face those hard questions. That's all. Now, small question, Aditya. Sorry, bacha. No. This is not how you can expect for JEE. If you are expecting small questions in JEE Advanced, please go back, have a look at the PYQs, you will understand. Okay, now once I understood EMF, I think I can go ahead with the current and all of that, but I'm going to redraw the circuit. I'll tell you why. Because this entire circuit is like this. I'll just show you. There is a battery, EMF. By the way, the entire rod has some internal resistance. The rod has resistance R. So this much part of the rod will have a resistance of R by 2. If this is R, this is R by 2, this is R by 2. Correct? Obviously, the resistance is proportional to the length. This is the center. Then you will have another internal resistance R by 2, and then you will have another EMF over here. And think of the common point as another external resistance R, and these two points are basically connected over here. Whether they are connected from there does not matter. It's basically they are just connected. This circuit is actually very simple. If you notice, this cell and this cell are in parallel to each other. They are in parallel to each other. Observe it carefully. You will be able to realize this. This resistance R is over here. This battery with resistance R by 2 and the cell EMF E is connected over here. So is this battery is connected. Instead of connecting it like this, you can connect it like that also. It's one and the same thing. You can think there is another resistance R by 2 and another EMF, obviously E, and that is also connected over here. Don't you see these both batteries are in parallel? I hope this is clear. Very interesting. So whenever you have a rod which is rotating, that rod behaves like an EMF. So there is an EMF, matlab battery over here, there is another battery over here. So there are these two batteries and this resistance. So I thought of these two individual rods radius as batteries, and now you can see this is an external resistance. Now whatever is the potential here between these 2 points is the same over here, because this point and this point are basically connected. So instead of connecting this over here, I might as well connect this point directly over here, because these two are anyways connected. So I saw that when I take this battery over there like this, these two batteries come in parallel. Not just that, the entire rod PQ has a resistance R. So each of that rod will have a resistance of R by 2, and this also will have a resistance of R by 2. Is that clear? Everybody with me on this? No, it is not going to be 0 by symmetry. I do not think so. Let's try to figure this out now. Let's simplify this. This is standard now. There is a resistance R. So two batteries of equal EMF, equal internal resistance in parallel, their equivalent EMF will also be E. R by 2 in parallel, the equivalent resistance will become R by 4 because they are in parallel, and it will be connected here. Is that right? So what I have done is just considered both of them as parallel cells. That's all, parallel cells. Use the parallel cells concept. You will see when two cells are in parallel, their EMF will be the same, assuming they are identical, and internal resistance will just add like parallel resistance. If magnetic field is not uniform, then you cannot use the formula. You have to use integration to find the net EMF, obviously. Now, here you can see what will be the current in the circuit. So there will be some current in the circuit like this. So this current can be easily found out. It will be EMF by the total resistance, which will be R plus R by 4. So that will be EMF by R plus R by 4 is nothing but 5R by 4. Oh, but wait a minute. I have found out the EMF value. Before it was half B omega A square. So I'm just going to write this as 4 by 5 times of R. It was half B omega A square. Now 2 and 4 cancels. So I'm just going to get the current as 2 B omega A square by 5 times of R. See, let's see whether this option is there or not. Oops, sorry, where is it? Yep, 2B omega A square by 5R. So I think that option is also there. That option is there. So current is definitely not 0. This is wrong. Now what about the direction of the current? What about the direction of the current? So you will have to do integration of V cross B dl. That's the formula, right? VBL. So at every dl, the magnetic field will be different, and it will also change as a function of time because it is rotating. So it will be very complex, bacha. Such questions will not come, because as the rod rotates, not only will the field change with the radius, but also with time. So it will be one crazy thing. Don't worry, such questions is out of bound for even JEE Advanced. Now what about the direction? Direction is simple, because I saw the batteries are like this. The batteries are like this. I saw that the current in the circuit will go like this, will go like this, it will go like this, it will come here like this, and they will add up over here, and they will go through the resistor. So basically they are going from the circumference to the center, from the circumference to the center. So where is it? Is it from the circumference to the center? Yes, that is option D, I suppose. Option D, from the circumference to the center. That is your option B and D. There you go. Very good, Lokeshwari. Yep, these kind of questions can be asked. These are all expected kind of questions only. I'm not taking very difficult. I'm not taking easy questions. I'm taking exact JEE Advanced kind of questions, so that you face the reality. If I take easy questions, you will be very happy and you will go home very happy thinking I know everything and maybe I don't need to prepare. But you need to face the reality. These are the kind of questions. Okay. Now, you should solve problems, Vijay. No use just studying theory right now. Look at this question. There is a resistor, inductor, capacitor. There is a switch, toggle switch, 1 and 2 positions. There is a battery. The switch is in position 1 for a long time, and now it is shifted to 2. At that instant, if it is taken as 0, at time pi by 2, what will happen? Okay, let's try to understand and see what and all is there. Current through the inductor, charge on the capacitor, potential difference. So current, charge, voltage on the capacitor. So that's what we need to find out. Now, first thing you should realize is that when the circuit is over here, okay, even before toggling the position, okay, even before the toggling of the position, when the circuit is like this, switch is in position 1, even before toggling, okay. So this is what we are talking before the toggling position at 1. You will see this is an inductor, this is a resistor, this is a battery, that's all, and it will be in steady state. And in steady state, what happens is the inductor behaves like a simple wire. So the circuit will be just nothing but there is a battery of 20 volts and there is an internal resistance and there is a wire over here like this, nothing else. This is 5 ohms. So what will happen is you will just see a plain and simple current flowing through the circuit, and that current will be voltage divided by resistance, which is nothing but 4 amperes. Why is this important? You will understand now. Toggle means from 1 to 2. If you toggle, tap, you change, switch the position. So before switching the position to 2, before toggling, before changing the position, you are at 1. That's the meaning of toggling. Sai Prasanna. Okay. Now, no, differential equation wala question from EMI, no, it is not relevant. Arnav, nope, no. They will ask you conceptual questions on whatever you have learned. There are a lot of questions in Erodo which are beyond the scope of JEE Advanced. So you should do selective picking of questions for JEE Advanced. You cannot solve everything from Erodo. You should not, rather. Once you switch the position to 2 or you toggle the position to 2, what happens is the same current which was flowing through the inductor. Remember, inductor does not like changing the current so easily. The same current flows at t is equal to 0. So at t is equal to 0, the current flowing is 4 amperes only, just like before. Do you guys agree with this? The same current will flow in the inductor because inductor resists. What does it resist? Changes in the current. Changes in current. So in the dt time, when you move from 1 to 2, all right. So this is what has happened in the dt time. The current will not change. It will still be 4 amperes, bam. And L and C, that's a LC oscillation circuit. Now we have got a LC oscillation circuit. That's all you should concentrate on. This battery and resistor is out of the picture. Don't even look over there. Just look at this part of the circuit. In a LC oscillation circuit, if the current is maximum, the capacitor is not charged at t is equal to 0. This is all at t is equal to 0, by the way. All at t is equal to 0. Capacitor has no charge on it. Great. So I think I can figure out the graph, because in LC oscillation, current and charges change sinusoidally. If current is 4 amperes, charge is 0, that current is maximum current. That current is maximum current because the entire energy is in the inductor, no energy is there in the capacitor. At the next very instant, you will see the energy from the inductor will slowly move on to the capacitor. The energy will slowly move on to the capacitor. Alright, so I can say that if I had to draw a nice beautiful graph of current versus time, it would probably look something like this. Current is maximum, like this, and like this. This would be obviously one time period. At the same instant, I can also draw the graph of charge versus time, and that graph would look something like this. When current is maximum, charge will be 0. It's exactly phase shifted. This is one time period. This is like position, velocity, charge, current. Because if charge is the sine function, dq by dt, the derivative of the sine function will be a cos function. So that's why it has been phase shifted by pi by 2 or 90 degrees. Now the last part. So guys, while explaining, I will obviously take a long time, but when I sat to solved all these questions, it was very, very simple. Within 2-3 minutes I was able to do this. It's not that difficult. Okay, it's just that I'm explaining everything to you. Okay, now what else is there? Current we have to find. Current through the inductor is 4 amperes. This option is definitely correct. Option B is correct. Option A is wrong. Current is definitely not 0. Is everybody able to see that? Everybody able to, oh, but wait a minute, they have not asked at t is equal to 0. My bad, they have asked it at t is equal to pi by 2. Oh, we need to be little bit careful. Not at 0, at t is equal to pi by 2 they have asked. Okay, so what happens at pi by 2? Okay, let's try to find out what is the time period of oscillation. The time period of oscillation of a LC circuit is 2 pi root of LC. So it will be 2 pi root of inductance 1, capacitance also 1. So it is basically 2 pi seconds, 2 pi seconds. Now, when the time is pi by 2, think about it, it is the total time period of oscillation divided by 4. It is 1/4. Pi by 2 is 1/4 of 2 pi, 1/4. So if this time period is 2 pi, naturally this is nothing but pi by 2 seconds. Here, if this time period is 2 pi, naturally this is pi by 2 seconds. Do you see that? Now think and answer. At time is pi by 2, what is the current? Obviously the current is 0. So I'm going to go back and say the current is 0. Yes, it is definitely correct. This is wrong. Great. Perfecto. Now charge and voltage. Interesting. So we can do that also. It is not that difficult. Charge and voltage. So what can I do? Maybe I will think of energy. What at that time everything is in the capacitor's energy. Energy in the inductor is 0. So I can say from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to pi by 2, I can say the energy stored in the inductor was completely transferred to the energy in the capacitor. See, here current is maximum, inductor has maximum energy. Here charge is maximum, capacitor has maximum energy. Energy stored in the inductor will be half Li square. This will be equal to half, I can say Q square by C. And half gets cancelled. Inductance is 1. Current initially was how much? 4 amperes is equal to half has got cancelled. Charge I do not know. Capacitance is 1. So basically Q square is equal to 4. So naturally Q will be equal to 2 coulombs. That's the answer. Do I have Q is equal to 2 coulombs? Let's have a look at it. I think I made a mistake over here. My bad. Sorry guys. Sorry. This is not correct. This is not I into 4. This is I into 4 square. I into 4 square. So Q square will be equal to 4 square. So Q will be equal to 4 coulombs. Q will be equal to 4 coulombs. Okay. So now I think it is fine. Let's see. Yes, the charge on the capacitor is 4 coulombs. This is correct. What about the voltage difference? I think I can find that also. So since Q is equal to CV, Q is 4, capacitance is 1. So therefore voltage is equal to 4 volts. That is also correct. So let's try to see if I have 4 volts. Potential difference across the capacitor is 4 volts. This is correct. So A, C and D options are correct. Yep. There we go. Options A, C and D. Yes, it is correct too. Awesome. Hitesh. Yep. Arnav. Did you love this question? Did you not learn new things through these questions? Just honestly tell me. If you're learning, that's very good. Don't worry about which question was asked when, etc. These are exactly typical JEE questions, JEE advanced questions. Maybe they can make it little simpler. How can they make it simpler? By choosing the options like that. The current is 0, current is 4, charge is 4, charge is 2 or charge is 10. So then you don't have to find many things. So that's how they can make it simpler. That's all. Thank you, Sujal. Yes, it's turn for IIT and please watch these lectures. Awesome. Thank you, Learn Addict Tamil. The only reason I got selected in JEE Advanced is Vedantu Enthuse English, Vedantu Enlite. Thank you so much. It means a lot when you say such things and when you prove yourself, and it means that whatever efforts we are putting in, it's not going in vain. Thank you guys for not letting our efforts going into vain, because we struggle a lot for you guys. Let's do the next one now. How does the total energy stored in the capacitor shown in the circuit change when you close switch 1, process 1, then switch 2? Assume all capacitors were uncharged. Increases, decreases, increases, magnitude. Okay, so basically it's all about energy. So let's try to do this question. I have 2 empty slides. Yes, I have. Okay, so let's first do process 1. Process 1 where K2 is not closed, only K1 is closed. So when K1 is closed, the current will only flow, or the relevant part will be only this. This is short circuited. This is not even to be considered, ignore this completely, and it will go like this, and like this. That's it. There will be no use of these two capacitors because they are shorted, guys. This is not even a part of the circuit now because K2 is open, and if you take the wire over here, the current or whatever charges will completely bypass these two capacitors. So even ignore this as well as this. So it turns out to be a very simple circuit with only this capacitor. This is the only capacitor which will be there, and you will have one voltage, that's it, I believe, and this capacitance. Great. So the energy in the first process will be nothing but half C V square. That's it, right? So before that there was no energy because everything was discharged. That is the energy stored in the first process. Is that asked? Okay. Energy increases in process 1. Yes, because before closing K1, the energy initially was 0. So obviously from 0 to half CV square, the energy has increased. So I can definitely say it increases in process 1. Everybody with me on this? Yep. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now let's move to the second process. K2 is also closed. K1 is closed. K2 is also closed. So when you close both of them, things will change a little bit. Okay, I think I'll have to redraw the circuit. Let's see. If I mark this point as A, the same wire is connected here. This is also point A. If I mark this point as X, this is also point X. Okay, and I can see if I mark this point as Y, this is also point Y, and this is also point Y, and this is nothing but point A. Interesting. So I marked the potentials at different points as A, X, Y, etc. Let's start with the battery first. So I have a battery, and this is basically your point A, and this is basically your point Y. Let's see what and all is there. Between A and Y, oh, I can see that there is a beautiful capacitor over here, this one. This and this have the same potential. So as if the battery is directly connected over here. Instead of going like this and all, just connect the battery's wire directly over here, and the second terminal is directly connected to the battery. So I can clearly see that there is one capacitor directly connected between these 2 points. So this capacitor is done. I'm just tick marking that. Everybody with me? Stay focused, guys. Okay, now what else is there? Oh, I can see that between A and X, these two capacitors have the same voltage. So these two are in parallel. X is in between, and X is connected to Y via a capacitor. Interesting. So here is what I will do. Between A and X, one capacitor and one capacitor. So both capacitors are basically in parallel. And this is basically your point X. This is obviously your same point A, and that X is connected via a capacitor directly to this point Y. Interesting. So all the capacitors are done. Now I know this is a simple series and parallel circuit. Without this you cannot solve the problem, let me tell you that. So let's start solving the question. Like you can clearly see over here, these two capacitors are in parallel, and that means it will be 2C. Now these two are in series, so that will be nothing but 2C into C divided by 2C plus C, which is 2C divided by 3. This whole capacitance is in parallel with this capacitance, which is connected to the battery. Now these two are in parallel, so final capacitance connected to the battery will be 2C by 3 plus C. Both are in parallel, so that will be 5C divided by 3. So I can also find the final potential energy, which is U2, I would say. So U2 will be half capacitance, which is 5C by 3 into V square. There you go. So that is the final energy. Now compare this energy with U1. Compare this energy with U1. U1, if you notice, U1 was just half C V square. What symbol will I put between them? What symbol will I put? Is U2 more or U1 less, or U1 more, or whatever? So I can see 5 by 3 factor coming over here. Naturally this will be bigger. And from process 1 to process 2 also the energy has increased. So in process 2 also the energy has increased. So I can go back and see. Yeah, increases in process 2, decreases definitely not. The magnitude of the change in 2 is less than that in process 1. Well, that also you can see that over here. Earlier it went from 0 to half CV square. So what has happened is it was 0, it went to half CV square, and then it has gone to basically half CV square into 5 by 3. So in the first case, what was the change? In the first case, what was the change? It was just half CV square. In the second case, what was the change? Half CV square, 5 by 3 minus half CV square, just subtract that. So 5 by 3 minus 1 will be 2 by 3. So it will be 2 by 3 times half CV square. So which one is more? I think you can see that the first process had more change. So magnitude of the process change in 2 is less than the process 1. So the change from here to here is more than from here to here. That also. Yep. I hope this is clear. I'm so glad Jay Ajinkya. Thank you. Welcome and keep studying. Keep watching. Now if you are at 99 plus percentile, I'm pretty sure you can crack JEE Advanced, and I hope you are understanding these questions as well. And even if you are not, I hope you are learning. I'm not saying that you might understand, but you will learn. So the change in the energy is asked, not the actual energy. So you can see that the magnitude of the change in process 2 is less. You can see this quantity is less. This is less. Oh, sorry, I had to put less. Sorry, you have to put less over here. Less than the first process. So this is less than that. Okay. Fair enough. Moving on to the next question coming up on your screen. Wow, bang on. Nice question. Magnetism, velocity, circle, EMF, current. So EMI questions are always fascinating, guys. Learn Addict Tamil, 2-3 sessions, difficult bacha, but please join the Ekalavya batch. There you are getting many sessions. I hope you have joined the Ekalavya batch. Link is there directly in the description box. Trust me, if I could, I would have done, but you know, I have many commitments. So that's why I'm trying my best to take care of everyone. 11th, 12th, passing out student, NEET students, JEE students, so many people are there. Okay, I hope you understand. But whatever I teach you, learn from that, be happy with it. Rest is your effort, obviously. Okay, let's solve this. A circular conducting loop of R0 radius length. Wow, resistance is also there. Great. And it is in a magnetic field. Amazing. Loop is pulled from both sides so that the speed is same, and it is always circular, and the radius keeps on decreasing. Wow, what a marvelous question, guys. And there is an EMF and there is a current which is being generated. So first try to reason out, why will there be EMF or current? When the size of the loop decreases, the area of the coil changes. If the area changes, flux changes. Flux changes by Faraday's law, that will create EMF. So by the EMF, you can find the current. Wow, crazy. Crazy concept question. Let's try to do this. First, let me start with the radius. Okay, so here is what I would say. If the original, okay, let me use different color. If the original radius was R0 and there was some circumference over here. Okay, there was some circumference over here. Later on, what happens is the circumference becomes small because you are pulling it from here and pulling it from here. So there will be a new radius, small r, because I think the question is also what is the radius as a function of time. Can I say this? Can I say this? The new circumference is the old or I would say the initial circumference, that's a better word, initial circumference minus the change in the circumference due to the pull from both the sides. Because you are pulling it, slowly the circumference changes. So earlier if it was 10 meters, slowly it decreases by 2 meters because of the pull, and the remaining circumference will be just, you know, whatever is shown over here. The new circumference, can I just say it is 2 pi times of small r? 2 pi times of small r, that's the new circumference. The initial circumference obviously is 2 pi times of r0. Now this is the challenging part. What will be the change in the circumference? Exactly, Jay Ajinkya, you hit the nail. The perimeter, the circumference is decreasing at V plus V rate. This side if you pull V, this side if you pull V, so total rate of change of the circumference is 2V. Per unit time, it changes by 2V. In a time t, how much will it change? 2V into t. This will be the total change. So 2V is basically your rate of change. Into time will give me the total change. Now you can see 2 to 2 goes. Pi you can bring it down. So R will be equal to R0 minus Vt by pi, I suppose. So is that option there? Just check this out. Yep, it is there. Perfecto. Option A is correcto. Yes, I will be uploading the PDF after the class. Yep, definitely, Afzal. Don't worry. Awesome, Elon Musk. Great. Yep. Now, moving on to these questions. EMF and current. If you find EMF, you can find current. That's not a big deal. So, to find EMF, I need Faraday's law. Faraday's law, how do I use it? See, by Faraday's law, I can say the EMF is induced because of the area or basically the flux change, because of the flux change. Now that EMF is minus d by dt phi, but phi is nothing but b times of a by dt. B is not changing, a is changing, so b is a constant, bring that outside, so minus b into rate of change of area. Okay, so what is the rate of change of area? Okay, so let's find the rate of change of area. So first we'll find what is area. Area will be pi r square, but r is also a function of time. So let's bring r from the previous slide. R from the previous slide was r0 minus vt by pi. So it will be nothing but r0 minus vt by pi the whole square. Is that making sense to all of you? Okay, now I have to find dA by dt. I have to substitute it here. So let me find a dA by dt. So this is a function of a function, so I can do the derivative. So the derivative of this whole square term will be twice into r0 minus vt by pi into the derivative of the inside term, which is 0 minus v by pi. Derivative of time is 1. That's it. So I will get dA by dt will be 2 is there, minus is there, so minus 2 pi is there, and oh, pi also gets cancelled, so why even bother writing it? I'll just mention over here, this pi got cancelled with this pi, so I'm just left with minus 2 and v, and oops, 1 second, minus 2 and v over here, and then I will have r0 minus vt divided by pi. Okay, so I can use this and substitute it over here. Great. So if I substitute it over here, what will I get? So I'll get minus b, and this whole thing, I'll get this whole thing. So minus 2b into r0 minus vt divided by pi, brackets close, minus minus cancels. So I'm just left with 2 times of bv, and I will have r0 minus vt divided by pi. That is your EMF. Let's just check this out if that makes sense. 2bv r0 minus vt by pi. Yes, that is there. Exactly. EMF is there. You can see that. Can you see that, guys? Yep, it is there. Yep. Now, Vijay 11th Drishti batch, I'm already teaching in the AI batch. The live batches I won't be teaching because I'm already preoccupied, but you have the best teachers, trust me, take my word. If you don't like, then come to me. Okay, but I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy. Now for the current, there is a big catch. Many students will make a mistake. Okay, just observe this. The current will be EMF by the resistance. Now, EMF I already know from before. It is this big term 2bv, whatever I've got it right now. So 2bv. So I have 2bv and into r0 minus vt by pi. Now the only problem is resistance. Trust me, the resistance is not so simple. Again, you have to think about it. It's clearly mentioned the resistance per unit length is lambda. Goodness. So what will be the actual resistance? So the resistance will be nothing but resistance per unit length into the circumference, whatever is the new one, the new circumference. So the new circumference will be 2 pi into small r. So it will be lambda into 2 pi, and the radius, what was the radius? The radius was r0 minus vt by pi. So it was r0 into r0 minus vt by pi. R naught minus Vt by pi. Great. So substitute that over here. So it will be lambda into 2 pi, and I will have R naught minus Vt by pi. Interesting thing to note is that R naught minus Vt by pi, R naught minus Vt by pi gets cancelled right over here. Just going to show it in a dotted line. Perfecto. So I'm just left with, even this 2 and 2 gets cancelled. This 2 and this 2 also gets cancelled. Perfecto. So I'm just left with Bv by lambda, and I think I have pi. That's all. Is that true? Let's just check this out. I think I have that as option D. So ABD. Yes, it is ABD. There you go. That's the answer. What a brilliant question, guys. What a brilliant question. Because the resistance is also variable. A lot of people make a mistake in that. They just write it as 2 pi R naught and get a wrong answer. In fact, it will not even match with any of the options. And these are multiple correct questions, so you need to be extra careful. Okay, so beautiful question. You can watch it again and again till you understand this question, because it has many concepts in it. Next question coming up on your screen. Figure represents the log scale pressure dependence of adiabatic compressibility of the two gases, I believe, not glasses. It is gases. Mark the correct options. Monoatomic, diatomic, monoatomic, degrees of freedom. Okay, so I think we have to find gamma some way or the other. Yeah, you can take phi instead of E. Yeah, it's the one and the same thing. You will get the same thing, because Arnav, we had already found the EMF, so finding current becomes easier than finding again flux and then getting all of that. Okay, yes, solving the exam hall is the real war. Now you'll be like, sir, what the hell is this adiabatic compressibility? I have never studied this term. You have to use your brain in the exam. They might use some complex term which actually means the same thing, but you are seeing it in a very different way. So try to understand what is the meaning of adiabatic compressibility. Okay, so here is what I will think. Compressibility, I know, is nothing but 1 by compressibility K is nothing but 1 by bulk modulus. This is from solid mechanics. See how they have used solid mechanics concept. It's 1 by B. Great. And the bulk modulus of anything is given by the change in the pressure by minus dV by V. This is the formula. Pressure change by the volume strain. Now I can just rewrite this as minus dV by dP, and here I have 1 by V. That is K, but that is only the compressibility part of it. We have not even spoken about adiabatic compressibility. Now, what is the meaning of adiabatic? Adiabatic means obviously heat is not absorbed or given. So in general, I know one thing. dP by dV is nothing but minus, that factor comes into P by V. That factor is decided on the process. For isothermal it is 1. For adiabatic it is gamma. For isobaric it is 0. So it depends on the process. That is the polytropic power in any case. So whatever PV raised to alpha is constant, that alpha comes over here. For adiabatic process, that alpha polytropic power comes out to be gamma, so it will be gamma P by V with that negative sign. This is only for adiabatic. Obviously. So now I know the value of dP by dV. How about putting that over here? So it will just become, I will just put dV by dP. So dV by dP will be inverse of this. So minus V by gamma P. Okay. So I put that, and do not forget there is another minus from here, and I have 1 by V over here. VV cancels, minus cancels. So I'm just left with, I believe, 1 by gamma. So 1 by gamma. So that is adiabatic compressibility. Just check this out. Everybody with me on this? Okay. So now what do we do? Think about it. What do we do? Now that I have adiabatic compressibility over here, let's try to think. PV raised to gamma is constant. Oh, log P and log K is a straight line. Interesting, guys. What are you going to do? Come on, what are you going to do? Think about it. What are you going to do, guys? Come on, think. is there? Oh, I think I missed a P term over here. I'm so sorry. Did I miss a P term over here? Yep. Okay. So I think I can take that P term over there. Yeah, and I can write it as Pk is equal to 1 by gamma. Because there is log, I'll take log on both sides. So it will be log of Pk will be log of gamma raised to -1. So this will be log of P plus log of K will be minus log of gamma, correct? Okay, let's rearrange it. Log K is on the y-axis. So rewriting this, so log of K will be minus log P minus log gamma. Now compare this with y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. You will immediately notice m is -1, x is nothing but log of p, and c is nothing but minus log of that gamma. That's all. So that's how P did not cancel. By mistake I cancelled it. So sorry, that's what I did it. I took the P. Yes, Pranjal. Yes, I have not cancelled the P, Afzal. I have put back that P. By mistake, I forgot that P, which was here. I have put it back. Don't worry, or else I would not be able to do this. Okay. Glad Arnav Sadni. Now what you need to do, check the y-intercept. Now if you check the y-intercept, it is log gamma. So their y-intercepts are different. So now think, be little bit creative, guys. Gamma is 1 plus 2 by f. This is degrees of freedom. What is this? This is degrees of freedom. If degrees of freedom is more, then gamma will be less. Correct? Degrees of freedom is more, gamma is less. That means the y-intercept will be less. So now think about it. Out of 1 and 2, who has lesser y-intercept? 1. So hence the degrees of freedom will be more. So here 1 will have more degrees of freedom than 2. So let's see if that is correct. Yes, line and okay. Degrees of freedom for the gas represented by line 1 is more than the degrees of freedom for line 2. You can see that option C is definitely correct. Now talking about mono and diatomic, obviously for diatomic degrees of freedom will be more. So for dia, the degrees of freedom is more than for monos degrees of freedom. So as the degrees of freedom increase, gamma decrease, y-intercept also decrease. So basically, if you see, the diatomic will have a lesser y-intercept. So 1 will be diatomic, 2 will be monoatomic. So 2 will be monoatomic. So you can see 1 represents diatomic, 2 represents monoatomic. Exactly matches. Perfect. What a beautiful question. So you had to solve this till here to get it in the log form to get the final answer. Exactly. Awesome, guys. I'm so proud that so many Ekalavya students are here. In fact, you should ask more of your batchmates to be here. It will be fun. I mean, you will also enjoy. And when you see your batchmates, hey, hi, hello, hi, you are here. Nice to see you. Like Ajinkya and Arnav are saying hi-fi to each other. Okay. No problem, Ishan. So, how about the last best question for today? Okay, ready for this? This is a PYQ, but it's so marvelous, guys. You will be like, sir, I never thought units and dimensions can be so much fun. Yes, Anthony, you can say that. So, read the question carefully. Consider a new system of units where mass and angular momentum are dimensionless. Guys, it is crazy. New system where mass and angular momentum is dimensionless. It's not the base units or fundamental units. It is completely dimensionless. And the craziness is that if length has a dimension of L, which of the following is correct? Dimension of energy, force, power, etc. So you know what I feel? If you are able to understand this part, then one by one we will look at this, one by one. Okay, I don't know which one is correct, which one is wrong. Let's try to figure this out. Yes, Afzal, like I said before, I will be do that. Let's see. According to this, mass is dimensionless. So the dimension of mass is nothing Great. And the dimension of angular momentum, I'm not going to use the symbol L because it looks a little bit confusing. Angular momentum, these are common mistakes. Understand why I'm not using the symbol L, because you will see LL cancel, a lot of things can change, so don't use that. Great. So this will be angular momentum. What is the dimension of angular momentum? Okay, angular momentum is MRV. So it is mass into radius into velocity, same dimensions. Mass anyways has no dimension, so don't bother from here. Radius has the dimension of length. Velocity has the dimension of length per unit time. Okay, so this is length and per unit time. Okay, interesting. And it is mentioned that angular momentum is itself dimensionless. Whoa, crazy. This is dimensionless, this is dimensionless, this is length and time. So what I get from here is dimensionless entity is a length square by time. So how about taking time over here? Time into dimensionless is time only. So times dimension is the square of the length is the dimension. That is the conclusion. Mass has no dimension. The dimension of time is length squares dimension. Crazy, mind blown. Yes, I'll come to the options. Hold on. First part was this. Now we have to check the options. So I will write down all the important takeaways over here. Mass's dimension is dimensionless. I will say length has a dimension of L, and time has a dimension of length square. So these are the three important takeaways from this slide. Now we'll go back and see one by one. Awesome learning Tamil, but I hope you were fascinated when you solved this question as much as we all are. Starting over here, the dimensions of energy. I don't think I'll go to energy. I will always go to force, because force can give me energy. Force can also give me power. Okay, so let's try with force first. So force usually has a dimension of mass into acceleration. Acceleration is length by your time square. So mass dimensionless, right? So mass, remember, dimensionless. So I'm just not going to put anything. Length is L, and time has a dimension of length square. So time square will have a dimension of length squares, which is length raised to 4. These will cancel and you will get 1 by length whole raised to 3. Check if this option is correct. Yes, perfect guys, awesome. I'm so glad Leonardic Tamil. I will be very happy. Same way, it is likewise, bacha. Even if you don't clear IIT, it's not like I'm going to judge you or I'm going to be very disappointed. I will still be very proud of all of you, even if you fail or even get 0 marks in IIT. It's okay, because you tried. Whatever you did, you did your best. So don't think about what will others think. Don't think about what will others say, what will you have to hear. Just do it for the fun of it. Enjoy the paper, guys. When you enjoy the paper, when you enjoy the questions, you will automatically get good marks. Don't think about the outcome. Dimensions of energy. Energy, I can say it is the dimensions of force multiplied by the dimensions of the displacement. Okay, the dimensions of the force is right over here. It is 1 by your length cube, and the dimensions of displacement is the dimension of length. So these two cancel. I will get 1 by length square. Is that there? Yes, that is also correct. How about this? Dimensions of power. Now power is nothing but force multiplied by velocity. So force is already here. So 1 by length square, and velocity is meter per second. So you will have meter, which is length, per second, which is time. Time has a dimension of L square. So I'm just going to put L square over here. So remember, this was time actually. Okay, so L square, so 1 L will remain over here, so it will become 1 by L, and I will have cube over here. Interesting. Oh, but this is L raised to -5. This is wrong. This option goes away. And dimension of linear momentum. Linear momentum, I can say it is the same as kg, means mass into velocity. Velocity is basically length by time. Mass has no dimensions as per the new system. Oops, not equal to. Mass has no dimensions as per the new system. Velocity is distance by time, so it will be length by time. Time has the dimensions of L square, so I'm just going to put L square over here. So one of the L cancels and I will have just 1 by L over here. So L raised to -1, yes, this is also correct. So A, B and D, I suppose. Yes, it is A, B, D and D. Awesome. What a brilliant question on units and dimensions. So it has opened new thinking in your brain, activated new neurons in your brain for sure. And if you have still not joined the Rank Accelerator program for JEE Advanced, still there is time. If you want to solve questions like this, teachers like me, or even I would say better than me, are teaching and helping you out with the discussions, with modules, with doubt solving, and the best of the best assignments. And also you are going to get mock tests with also rank prediction and different patterns and theme based to prepare you for the best and for the worst. All of this for free. The link is there in the description box. It is called as the Ekalavya program. It's absolutely free, of course. It also includes counseling, branch selection, any kind of help, be it emotional, be it academic, all kinds of help is provided. So make the best use of this and be in this journey with all of us together, with all the highly motivated teachers who want to do the best for you, with nothing that we expect in return except for your benefit and your goodness. That's all. So make sure you spread the joy of learning with your friends, your batchmates. Do not forget to share, or even telling somebody in the class, hey, watch Shreyas' class. Hey, you know what? We Enlite, English channel for all the JEE and the NEET aspirants. It means a lot. And yes, your likes also do matter, because that's how we survive. Okay, so thank you guys very much for tuning in, and leave your lovely comments back in the comment section. Bye bye, Learn Addict Tamil. Bye bye, God Vesper. And so the number of correct answers or 0 mark God Viper place, it depends on whether there is partial marking or negative marking not there. So you have to read the instructions. There have been cases where there was negative marking. There have been cases where they are given partial marking. There have been cases where there were no negative marks, no partial marks. So you have to see that. Bye bye Teja. Bye bye. I drank your coffee. Bye bye Jai Ajinkya. Bye bye everyone. Take care. Have a great time. Hasta la vista, Captain Shreyas.